What's going on, guys? Happy Thursday, and welcome back to me and to you, to Sin City Crypto. My name is David. I'll be one of your co-hosts. And today, like every single day except Saturdays, coming at you live from our studio. We have an amazingly exciting show. So much happening. We have the FedNow payment rails has been confirmed. It's launching in July. What does this mean for crypto, for stable coins? And what does it mean for your bank account? Also, huge Ethereum news. A official date for the Shanghai upgrade to hit the mainnet has been confirmed. Also, in the Ethereum ecosystem, Arbitrum airdrop has been confirmed. What will the market cap of Arbitrum be upon its release? We did a poll. Make sure you cast your vote. We also have XRP Jenna joining us. We're going to talk about banks, the banking crisis. We have so much to talk about. But first, here's your other host, Robin.
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take old, boring, and stale information and repackage it up in a fun and sexy, entertaining, crazy kind of way. Bitcoin? 25,000? No? Not yet? Almost? Will it come back?
No,
No?
never.
You know, I just thought about it, man. I feel like Bitcoin's going to trade sideways for a while. And if the FedNow is launching next month, I think I'm just going to sell and just go there, man. It has all the benefits of crypto without any of the downsides.
Not even a blockchain.
You can use it 24/7.
Yeah.
And it moves at the speed of light.
So that means if I'm trying to send money from my business Bank of America account to my business PayPal account, it's not going to take 7 hours or 7 days. Interesting.
It's set up by the Fed, but other companies and banks have to participate and actively use it versus what they have now. So it's not going to be a light switch. But
So let me ask you a question.
Let's
Let's say you're running one of the largest banks in the U.S.
okay.
What's a fair, like everything included, right? Bonuses, pay. What's a fair pay rate for the CEO?
Bank?
Say Wells Fargo, their CEO.
Okay. So
What's a fair
well, you got to figure that's a multi-billion dollar
Correct.
company.
Right.
You should to draw the right candidate to run the company, you got to have
100 million?
have to have a competitive salary.
100 million? Or is that too much?
That's a lot, man. I would, but honestly, that's a lot of money. But I would expect that position to probably pay around 300 million.
300 million.
That'd be my guess. I think
So 500 million would be like crazy.
that's a lot.
What about $1 billion?
Billion, huh?
What about 2.2 billion?
2.2 billion?
Yeah.
Does one person even need that much money?
That's what Sam got paid at FTX, the CEO. $2.2 billion.
That's what he got paid?
Sam Bankman-Fried got paid as CEO of FTX. Followed by Nishad at 587 million. Gary Wang, 246. Ryan Salami, 87. And then look at poor Caroline, 6 million.
You feel bad for her?
No, because I think we all make our own decisions. We all have to, bear the consequences of our decisions. So she decides I usually say people don't get to where they get to because they're stupid. And I'm not saying Caroline is stupid, but this is probably one of the cases where
How about this? Girl, you dumb.
this is probably a case where she didn't get to where she got to because of her expertise, her smart. She probably got there because of the ties between Sam, the parents, and her dad at MIT.
Don't forget, she was also boom.
Yeah.
With
The old climb up the ladder or
the small letter down
other
there.
things up the ladder. So obviously this is outrageous. Hence the question I asked earlier. But
$2.2 billion. So at the height,
and we gotta assume that was customer funds, right?
I mean, it had to be. It's not like he took because essentially you add all that up, that's about $3 billion, which is 5% of their highest valuation, right? The highest evaluation when there were 60 billion. And the top 5 people are accounting for 5% of the entire net worth of the company. That didn't come from that revenue there did not come from transaction fees.
No way.
No. Transaction fees, liquidations.
That's a great assessment, Robin.
Yeah.
Great assessment.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Like if you were looking at the books of Coinbase and you were say, hey, your company's valuation is X amount of dollars. If you're trying to decide what to pay somebody as far as salary, you're looking at how much money you generate, and how much money you generate is going to be off of the events that you deem as income. So your transactions, your staking, your liquidations, borrowing, derivatives yields, all of that is your income. There's no way they were generating $3 billion worth of income. Well, they might have been generating $3 billion worth of income, but that might have been it. You know, that's what I mean, like the operating costs, from top to bottom, all the fees.
Gross revenue is $2 billion. Well, you have expenses.
Yeah. So if your gross revenue with all your fees and all of the income that you make, gross revenue, if that is $3 billion, you can't just pay all $3 billion and not move that anywhere else. Anyways, yeah, it's customer funds.
Jimmy said $6 million is not bad for not doing any accounting, and S-Dog said they paid her for her looks.
I feel like they just took all the customer funds, and I'm not even trying to be funny here. I think they took all the customer funds, all the Bitcoin, and all the Ethereum. They just put it in one wallet,
like one for me, two for one for you, two.
No, they just put it all in one wallet, and they like looking at the wallet, and it has all customer funds in there, and they're like, "How much are we paying ourselves today?" I'm just gonna take about 65,000 Ethereum, and that'll be this month's pay.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
You know what else is kind of sad?
What's that?
These two right here.
Oh,
I want to play a game.
Is that a card table there?
This is AI generated, right? Kind of looks like it, right?
No, that looks real. Is that?
I don't know.
I don't know. You think that's fake?
The scary part is that's a serious question. I really don't know. Like, I don't know if this is an actual picture that happened, or either way, we're going to play a game. What do you think she's telling him? And chat, I want you to participate in this game as well. What is Elizabeth Warren saying to
maybe
Gary Gensler?
Get your hand off my ass.
Wait, his hand's not even on her ass.
I'll just say, where's the other hand, bro?
Yeah, where's the other hand? This got to be AI.
I'm telling you, bro.
Saying, that's not the answer I gave you, Gary. And he's like, what? Yeah. So what do you guys think she's saying? The best answer will get a special shout out from us.
I think that she's saying, I told you to buy the BlackBerry. I wrote it in a Samsung fridge. Why did you do that? I don't know. That's
BlackBerry. Rocco's having some nostalgia.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to say XRP.
Big Swole said, how do I get Arbitrum? It's not out yet. Airdrop's coming later this month in 7 days. So 1 week from today. And who knows when it's going to get listings. It's pretty big.
A little shout out to the chat here. First of all, where everybody at? We ain't got 100 people in here yet. Only got 50 likes. We're going to entice the viewers to come in by hitting the like button. Also, if you're new, say hello so that we can drop an hola back at you. We got a few new people in the chat. We have Luke, we got Guy D, and we also have Harry Gensler.
Wait, what?
Yes, Harry Gensler. Yes, Harry Gensler. So to all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
I'm going to go ahead and read some of the comments from the chat here. So let me go ahead and read some of these. All right. So let's see. Hold on, I'm scrolling. We know you're my twin brother, said XRP Hitman. I will see you tonight. The door is unlocked. That's what Gonzo said. It's pretty funny. She's not wearing any. Okay. Is it okay if I ask you that? That's a good one because look at his face. Is it okay if I ask you that? I'm not an American native. Crypto Billy, that was pretty funny. Liz to Gary, why are you so short, bro? I don't know. They look like Igor and the Young Frankenstein. All jokes aside, if you haven't been following along with this whole Elizabeth Warren thing, she got caught. She got caught sending Gary Gensler not only the questions to what he was going to be asked at the Senate banking hearing, but also answers, suggested answers. And so, I'm pregnant. It's terrible. All right. Before we bring on our guests, let's go ahead and take a look at what the crypto markets are doing. We're going to pull up CoinMarketCap here. Bam. All right. So what's interesting to me is Bitcoin dominance has been going up. It's over 44%. We still have over $1 trillion in market cap, 66 billion in volume. ETH dominance is sitting at 18.8%. Again, we'll get into the Arbitrum news here in a minute. We got a full vesting schedule. We also have when it's going to get airdrop and to who it'll be airdrop. And we don't know yet when it's going to get a listing, if it's going to get a listing. So, but as soon as we get the news, we will share it with you guys. So Bitcoin, $24,743, down on the 1 hour, up on the 24, and up over 15% over the last 7 days. ETH under 1,700, $1,660. Big ETH news day today. As far as their deflation on their token, as far as Arbitrum, and also as far as the official date for the mainnet upgrade of Shanghai that will let people take out some of their staked Ethereum. BNB 329, XRP sitting at 36.3 cents. And why is this not scrolling? There we go. Why are you not scrolling? Okay. Cardano, 32 cents. Cardano has been extremely underperforming, even during these big pumps. But I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If you guys want to invest in Cardano, just understand Cardano takes their time. They're very methodical. They don't give a crap about investors because they don't have investors. Well, the investors they have the answer to, at least, taking out, of course, community. But as far as like VCs or private firms investing in their project, they don't have any. So they're not obligated to, hey, we got to make sure we return on investment for our investors, blah, blah. They really don't care. So they're taking their time. Charles has said it multiple times. We don't care about price. If you're looking for a quick flip or a 10x in 1 year token, Cardano's not it. It can be, but it wouldn't be my first choice. Polygonmatic at $1.13, Doge at 7 cents, and BUSD ever so slowly dwindling. Once was an $18 billion market cap, is now under $9 billion, 8.29. Solana up 2.26% over the 24 hours, sitting in at $19.42. We are working on getting someone from the Solana Foundation on our show, so stay tuned for that. That'll be good. Polkadot, SHIB, Tron, and DAI round out the top 15. Let's take a peek at crypto charts here. Let's take a look and see what Bitcoin's doing. So just to take a look at the economic calendar. So we have the Michigan consumer sentiment that comes out tomorrow. This pretty much measures people's, not measures, but kind of gives a forecast of people's perception of the economy. Are they feeling good? Are they feeling bad? This, a lot of companies and businesses use this Michigan consumer sentiment. That comes out tomorrow. And then, of course, big week next week as the FOMC meeting comes into play. We might have an idea of what our Federal Reserve will do here in the U.S. based off of what the Swiss and the European Central Bank did, and we'll go over that here in a minute. But this is Bitcoin on the daily. First thing I like to do is throw on my Ichimoku. Where are we at? Where's the trend? So it looks like trend is turning red, but we are still trading above the cloud. Looks like we're consolidating right around this 24.5 area. I throw on the VRVP, the volume range. You can see we have tons of support. Where'd you go? So at the bottom end of this cloud, we have tons of support, which is right at 20,800. We also have a lot of volume coming in towards the top of the cloud at $23,300. You guys can kind of see where these clouds form, right? And how congruent they are and confluent they are with some of these volume levels. And so On the daily, Bitcoin's still looking good. RSI's coming in at about 64, so not oversold, not overbought. If we swap down to the lower time frames, we are in what's called an equilibrium zone, which means this is technically a no trade zone. But you can see here how the cloud has perfectly tapped the top of the cloud multiple times, gotten rejected, and it's kind of consolidating sideways. If I take this off and throw on the Bollinger Bands, nothing happening there. But what can we expect from Bitcoin moving forward? I do see a little bit of consolidation. Now, of course, guys, we got to remember this next FOMC meeting will be, I know we say it every time, but this one I believe is going to be the most important one. Not just of this year, but of like going back to last year, 2022, it'll be the most important one. So what we saw happen to the lead up of the last FOMC meeting, a lot of money was on the sidelines, low volume, low volatility in the markets across the board until Jerome Powell spoke and then it was off. And so, Rob, are you expecting the same to happen leading up to next week's FOMC meeting? Are you expecting money to flow out of the market, stay on the sidelines until they see what the Fed's going to do?
This Fed meeting is shaping up to be a doozy because nobody really knows what's going to happen. In the span of a week, we went from a probability, a 25% probability of having a 50 basis point hike. That's completely off the table. Then it was more likely to see a 0.25 rate hike. Now the CME is forecasting that we're going to have no rate hike. We're going to have a pause.
When was the last time you checked the CME? I bet you if you check it now, it's changed.
It has to have been.
Because the European Central Bank and the Swiss Central Bank just did rate hikes.
Here, I'll pull it up right now. And so, yeah.
Remember what it was yesterday?
Yesterday was 60-40. Zero rate hike.
It was 60, right?
60.
Look at it now. I bet you it flipped.
You think it? Oh, good Lord. It did, dude.
Told you.
Yeah, so basically even more. Rock, will you pull this up real quick? This is even more evidence to say that the markets themselves don't know where we're going.
They have no idea.
Yeah. So we're in the slightest inclination that we're going to have good or bad news on the economic front. This is going to flip. So I don't think the markets are going to know. So basically, what is the most bullish scenarios? They pause. And that if that's the scenario, markets rally, stock market, risk on assets particularly, you're going to see a big jump in the NASDAQ.
But let me play devil's advocate here. If they pause, that's essentially the Fed saying we broke the system and people might panic.
No, here's the thing. If they pause, he might come out of the meeting and saying that, hey, inflation's coming down. We're getting closer to our target range. And so I think the expectation would be, hey, we're going to pause this meeting and on the table, we're going to reevaluate how the markets move, how CPI moves. And then at the next meeting, we can see if we want to raise it. So
I think we're going to get 25.
I think so too. I was always in that camp. I was always kind of hesitant to think that they were going to pause. I think
if there was
they've stood so hard on that line that, hey, we got to get inflation to 2%. The target range was 5.25, and we're currently at between 4.5 and 4.75. So
if and I'm going to pull up my laptop here. If this didn't happen, I would say if this didn't happen, I'd say we get a pause. $2 trillion could be injected into the U.S. banking system by the Fed via the emergency loan program. $2 trillion.
We've been talking about that. They have no issue. Like I said, there's no problem with hiking up interest rates or continuing the course, as they say, and at the same time doing quantitative easing, printing money, and injecting money, capital into the system. We've been saying this for the whole time. So it's not like all of a sudden it's like some breaking news that none of us saw coming. When the system got stressed, and the economy got stressed, instead of them pausing and reversing interest rates and dropping those down, they were just going to keep doing what they're doing and print money, essentially, is where we're at. And it's playing out exactly like we've been talking all year. Yeah. It's to a T, man. This is exactly what we've been saying. And it's no surprise. And I think because at face value, you can raise interest rates, pretend like you're fighting inflation and print money at the same time, and nobody really sees the money. It's like the magic trick. Like, look over here. Look over here. Don't worry about what I'm doing over here. And then meanwhile, they're over there printing. And then what I'm curious here is, so this is the forecast. Look at this. Rock, pull this one up. So this is the forecast for December.
December?
Yeah. No. So this is
where it's going to end.
Where it's going to be at the end of the year.
Got it.
So there's a 33% likelihood
That we get
that we go down, that we have
75?
a cut by 25.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So right now we're at this is actually
If we
this
get
is where we're at right now. So basically, if we had no interest rate hikes, or we were hiked up and then cut, there's forecasting the most likely scenarios that we end up back at baseline where we're at right now. And then there's a likelihood. There's not a lot of people. Look, the target range 5 to 5.25. That's not even on the table for the CME, right? They don't even think we can do this for the foreseeable future or for the rest of the year.
Also, XRP Hitman said FedNow XRP summary judgment ISO 222 launched this weekend. By the way, if you want to learn more about ISO 222, what it means and how cryptos, the 7 cryptos that are part of that are compliant, we did a video on that. You go check it out. It came out a couple days ago. So, all right, we have our special guest ready to join us. So without further ado, I present to you Miss XRP Jenna. Hello.
Hey guys.
Oh, we got
Can't hear me?
We can hear you.
We hear you. What's up,
Jenna? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us.
God, why does my camera make me look like a ghost here? I swear I'm not this white. I don't know. Sorry, guys.
Ghost of Vegas.
I'm gonna blind you.
We can add some color, or you can always come to Vegas. The sun is always out here.
That's right.
And
I swear I'm not this white. How's it going, guys?
Good. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us. First and foremost, I want to get your take on this. Did you see how much Sam Bankman-Fried got paid at FTX?
No, how much?
$2.2 billion as the CEO of FTX.
In 1 year?
Oh, shit. Where'd that come from?
Well, take a wild guess. Customer funds. And also, did you see that his ex-girlfriend, also the CEO of Alameda, got paid only $6 million? Some people are saying not bad for not having to do any accounting, but also compared to what the other people made, it's pretty ridiculous.
She ratted him out, man. She took the plea deal, and I'm starting to think perhaps she was salty that she only got paid $6 million while he was getting $2.2 billion.
But Gary Wang flipped, and he got $250 million. So,
yeah.
Anyways, of course, we're making a joke of this, but it's just
that's horrible.
It's horrible, and we know it's customer funds. Like it's so obvious. Jenna, before we get into any XRP news, which we will, I want to talk about the banking situation. Okay, so we just showed the Fed what the CME expects. What are you expecting with the whole banking fallout and the Fed essentially printing $2 trillion to give access to liquidity to these banks that are struggling? Do you think they're going to have to pause, rate cut, or you think they're going to continue raising rates because they introduced money into the system?
Oh, I have no idea. This is tough. Like, nobody really knows. Like, first of all, where is this 2 trillion just coming from? So I guess they're going to just distract us with, go look over here. There's aliens and UFOs. Don't worry about what we're doing over here. We're just going to continually, put in your, never mind. I don't know what I can say on here. But this kind of actually led me down. It kind of led me down to the rabbit hole of the ICE 9 plan, where we know that, and this is of course my maybe tinfoil hat, maybe not, but you just have to kind of watch what, the Fed's doing and the elites. But we know that BlackRock controls more than, the GDP of Russia, Spain, Japan combined, right? And basically there's this group of 149 individuals that is the global elites from the IMF, the WEF, world leaders, central banks, etc., that are coming together because they want the goal of one world order, one world currency, one world taxation, etc. So that's kind of my theory of they are trying to attack these crypto-friendly banks, and the only way they would actually be able to get a hold of BlackRock's assets are to be able to come in and, take control with the Fed. So that's one of my theories on that too, that I've been reading into at the ICE 9. But God only knows, guys. I think it's going to cause a ripple effect, but we're really definitely seeing a coordinated anti-crypto, effort coming into play.
That is without a question of a doubt. And Jenna, thank you for that amazing segue. I appreciate it, because I have some news regarding Signature and SVB. And so, okay, before I get in there, do you think them going in there and shutting down Signature Bank was because of their crypto operation? Or you think there was a legit systemic risk on the banking side?
I think it was more to do with crypto than anything.
Yeah, 100%. And we have proof that it was. Here is a tweet, okay? That Nathaniel Whittemore does a podcast for CoinDesk. Great podcast called The Breakdown. This is from a Reuters report. Any buyer of Signature must agree to give up all the crypto business at the bank. Any buyer must give up all the crypto business at the bank. And you know what's also very funny, Jenna, is Barney Frank. You remember back in 2008 when the when the banking market crashed and the Dodd-Frank Act came into play, kind of bringing more rules and regulations to the banking sector?
Oh, that was the summer I went into the military.
Well, I didn't know you were in the military. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, I just graduated high school and went to the military, so I don't know a lot about what happened then.
Okay.
That was a rough summer for me.
Banks started dying. Then two senators, I forget something Dodd and Barney Frank. So when senators propose bills, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. When senators propose bills, whatever bill that gets passed usually has their name attached to it. Usually, right? So Senator Dodd, Senator Frank, they passed these sweeping banking regulation bills, more oversight on banking, more rules, regulations. Now, Barney Frank, at the time, was obviously a member of, I believe it was the Senate or the House, either Congress. But now, his most recent role was a director at Signature Bank. And this guy is not a crypto guy. And he came out and did an interview, I believe with New York Mag, that he said crypto was definitely, this is a political attack against our relationship with crypto companies and our business with crypto. So you got a guy who doesn't like crypto come out and saying, yeah, we were shut down because of crypto. Now you have this. Does this change? Do you go from, yeah, I think it is, to it 100% is because of their crypto services?
I'm definitely on it. I definitely think that it is because of crypto.
Yeah.
And I think that the banks, this is going to bring us into closer to CBDCs here and everything. We already know that, that's going to be a thing, but the banks need to have their cut. They need to be involved, and they want to be able to track absolutely everything. And so I think that this will be, a push towards those CBDCs. But I also think that, it's kind of scary because we know how dangerous those can be. And that even gets us one step closer to, such social credit scores and basically being enslaved by the system.
Fair enough. That's a good analysis. I want to talk about Silicon Valley Bank here for a second, okay? So Silicon Valley Bank, which was where 50% of funding came from for fintech, for crypto, for the tech industry, their parent company is reportedly considering bankruptcy. According to a Reuters report, which cited anonymous sources, SVB Financial is scouting for buyers for its remaining assets and is exploring bankruptcy. On March 13th, SVB Financial announced that its board of directors hired a restructuring team. Now, I'm getting flashbacks here, but we've seen this twice already. And both times, the company that hired a restructuring team filed for bankruptcy to explore strategic alternatives for the company along with two of its subsidiaries. VC platform SVB Capital, and their investment bank securities, plus other investments and assets. Two-part question for you, Jenna. One part, do you think it's mostly the Fed's fault for hiking rates too high, or do you think SVB, the bank, was just not, they didn't have proper risk management? And two, do you think the Fed is going to look at this and they're going to stop hiking interest rates?
No, I think that this is definitely like a planned attack from the Fed. So, no, I think it's definitely more them. And I don't know. I do think that they will continue to hike interest rates. Absolutely. I mean, you got to make up for all of the money that you're printing.
I was in the camp that they were going to pause, but that was before I saw the $2 trillion number. They're definitely not pausing. If anything, they'll say, we're injecting this much money, but we're taking this much money out of the system. And so everything's fine. Life's about balance, right? What do you think, Robin?
Yep, right.
You think this is a hiring, restructuring team? You think they're definitely going to file for bankruptcy or what?
The bank? SVB?
Their parent company.
No.
The parent company.
Yeah, I get that. No, I think the thing is these guys are getting, now the depositors got bailed out, not the parent company or the shareholders or the CEOs. So, but there's a lot of money to be made in a bank. And I think that, I'm not just saying like, oh, they got a lot of money, they can't go under. I'm not saying that, but I think that with an infinite amount of money to secure assets, because basically you can take customer funds and then go rehypothecate those, use it however you choose, as much risk as you want, essentially. And if all fails, the government will insure the depositors. And they haven't lost their assets. They still have the treasury bonds. Now, they did sell some of them, but I mean, there's no reason they need to go under. The federal government's insuring 90% or insuring the customer deposits, which 90% of it they can go use elsewhere. So, I mean, their whole business model is you can't fail. And what is bankruptcy? It's saying, hey, we failed to pay our debts, or, you know.
Restructuring.
Yeah, and here's the thing: even if you file for bankruptcy, you're just restructure, as you said. They're not going to file. They're not going to go under bankruptcy.
No,
and liquidate. Yeah, exactly. So even if they were to file for bankruptcy and restructure, all they're really doing is paying less people. The amount of money they have, they're going to just be like, hey, man, you know what? We owe some people money. You know, we'd rather just not pay that, and we can use this. So, yeah, maybe they filed bankruptcy, but the company's not going anywhere. The bank isn't going anywhere. There's no reason they should go anywhere if you got a free lifeline of money that you can just draw on from the government. It's not even a company. It's a government. Like, could you imagine if the government was like, hey, man, you can just borrow as much money as you want? No live. It's just.
You guys down to start a bank or what?
Dude, it's crazy to me, man.
Jenna, you down?
I'm done.
You down to start a
bank? Down to start a bank? Yeah, let's tokenize it.
Let's bring some money together and start a bank. We'll have XRP be the currency.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of XRP,
I'm down with that.
Speaking of XRP, we can't have XRP Jenna on here without talking about it. So I want to share a tweet that you retweeted. So I know you are currently working with XRP PayNet, correct? Like you're part of their team. Yeah. Congratulations, by the way. That's awesome.
Thank you.
This is, you retweeted this from XRP King Doggo. Crypto's problem: only 0.001% of shops are accepting crypto, while more than 300 million people are investing in crypto. Crypto Solution, a system where you can swap any currency and pay while the receiver chooses what they want to receive. This is what XRP PayNet is doing. Please tell us more, Jenna.
XRPnet, yeah. So basically, we know, like, I love Ripple, I love XRP, but everybody knows, like, it is for the banks. I don't care what you say, what you think. Like, they do not care about you. They don't care about the retail investor. If they did, they would have already created this because Ripple has the tech. They could have totally done it. They could have made debit cards for us a long time ago and had a crypto to fiat bridge for us to use at merchants, but we don't have that. So that's what XR Paynet's doing. So that way I can have it in my wallet. Yes, guys, it is a centralized application. So my best advice is whenever you are going to go make purchases, move over to that app, what you want to use, if you're more comfortable doing it that way. And then you can swipe your debit card just like you would anywhere else and pay from your crypto. It's just going to go to fiat. I personally don't like Uphold, but it's kind of similar in that way. They're also going to be able to have like a buy now, pay later program as well, and just make life easier for everybody who wants to be able to spend their crypto. But the cool thing is on their app, all of the different XRPL tokens, there's wallets for, but you can whitelist any kind of wallet that you want of your own and put it on there as well. But yeah, it just makes life so much easier. And I know that they already have partnerships worked out in Dubai. And I think we're 4 weeks out from testing our first debit cards. But the debit cards are going to have a whole crazy rewards program, which the company has actually had to totally go and revamp just because of the SEC's regulations and everything like that. They want to make sure that they were completely compliant. So we've had to remove staking on the app and things like that. But cardholders will have like different rewards and perks all over, like literally discounts at hundreds and hundreds of stores all over the place. So they've worked out some really great deals, but I'm really excited to see this. You'll probably see it within the next, month or so rollout.
That's awesome.
And
Now,
you can
Jenna,
sign up now on their website, like to get notified to pre-order your card.
okay. Now this might be a stupid question, and I'm apologizing in advance. But if the ruling against XRP goes against XRP, will the whole what you just talked about, them launching in the US, will that go away? Or can they still do it if the judgment goes against it?
No, now you're still going to have like your KYC and everything like that. But no matter what with XRP, even if XRP goes away, the XRPL still runs, right? But what might happen is they won't be able to offer staking to residents in the United States, or whether it be New York. They might have to geofence out like those type of rewards programs and DeFi.
Right.
However, you can still use the card, but you will have to KYC.
Okay, fair enough. Speaking of settlement, are you hearing anything? A lot of people are saying end of this month. It's here, it's coming, it's soon, it's soon. There was a tweet that a lot of XRP tokens or money left the wallet into the fund that they used to pay their lawyers. And there was also a tweet that showed that their court fees were paid in full. So a lot of people speculated that means a judgment's already been made, or what are you hearing being in that circle? Can we expect something soon? Share your knowledge with us.
No, same thing that you are. Basically, we're in that waiting game. We're just waiting on the decision. And I definitely don't think that we're going to have to go to the Supreme Court. But we just had another breakthrough with the Voyager ruling, because that bankruptcy attorney, and I'm pretty sure that Ripple is going to be able to use this in their fair notice defense. But that attorney or that judge had just said about how basically the regulators don't know what they're doing. They have not made up their minds on whether cryptocurrency is a commodity and should be regulated by the CFTC, or whether it's a security, or neither. And they have no, guidelines. And that definitely plays into the fair notice defense for Ripple. So I definitely think that that will be another victory for them.
What do
you think, Rob?
There's also I don't really know where we stand on the court case. I haven't looked into it in a little while. I think is it's like every week it's like something bullish, but it's all rumor based, and I don't know. So I've been unplugged from that media stream there lately. But I will say that what I find interesting, what you mentioned with the XR, was it Pay? What was it?
Paynet.
Paynet.
XR Paynet.
Yeah. So the XR Paynet, there's a direct competitor to not only XRP, XR Paynet, but we got FedNow that launches next month.
Wow.
And so it has a lot of the capabilities.
Where are you getting this? You said next month twice now. Where are you getting this next month timeline? Mine says July.
Is it July?
That's what it says.
Okay. Well, next summer.
Next 3 months.
So anyways, so coming up soon, the FedNow. And so my thing is, are banks more likely, just kind of as a thought experiment, are banks more likely to use a FedNow system that does essentially what is advertised by the likes of XRP and RippleNet and also Stellar Lumens and some of these other payment systems, because they're addressing the core value, what the essential problem was. And it was, hey, you can't move value over the weekend. The Swift system's a little outdated. Wires take too much. It takes a lot of money to move a wire. It's, $50 per transaction. And so supposedly this FedNow fixes that, and it has all the benefits that you see from what we're seeing out of Ripple. Do you find this concerning? Do you think that banks would lean the FedNow rate way instead of something like XRP?
I mean, they could, they probably will. And I think a lot of them will have their own, token on their own private blockchains. I don't think it's just going to be one. I think XRP will definitely be used, and I think it'll be used by a lot of banks, but I think they're going to be able to have options.
Yeah.
Now that Robin brought up FedNow, we actually, as part of our article, we're going to go ahead and just talk about it. Federal Reserve confirms July launch for FedNow instant payment service. The U.S. Federal Reserve has confirmed a launch date for its long-awaited instant payment system. The network will settle payments in seconds and can support transactions between consumers, merchants, and banks. It does not rely on blockchain technology. It's a significant step for the government as it is controlled by the Federal Reserve. CBDC. Fed said it will begin the formal certification of participants during the first week of April. That's probably what Robin was referring to, in preparation for the launch. And this is from Nick Carter. If you like bank runs in the age of social media, you're going to love bank runs in the age of FedNow.
That's
so
funny.
someone in the chat.
No need to line up outside the bank on a Saturday morning. Now you can just sit on the couch and bank run, huh?
Yeah. That's honestly where we're going, even without FedNow. Pep Brett said they're only 15 years behind Bitcoin. Problem is, this is not, obviously it's not decentralized. There's no ledger, right? A public ledger.
There's a ledger.
It's just not public. It's private.
Yeah, it's controlled by certain people.
What are your thoughts, Jenna? This is supposed to be an alternative to a CBDC. I don't buy it. I think CBDCs are coming, whether we like it or not. But what are your general thoughts on this Fed? Now, obviously, if we trusted our government, we would say, wow, this is great. It makes it faster, 24 hours, cheaper, blah, 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 blah. But because we do not trust our government, we don't trust the people running it, we have our doubts. So what are your thoughts?
Well, if we trusted our government, if our government could be trusted, they would put it on the blockchain, and we would be able to see where the money's going. But there's a reason for that.
A good take right there.
What about you, Robin?
Okay, this should be all positive, right? I mean, think about it. Like the other, no, it should be. No, not exactly that, but the other scenario would be this never comes, and we still cannot process payments on Saturdays and Sundays. You can't process payments on Monday nights, and when you swipe your credit card, it's still going to take 3 days to process. And God forbid you need to, God forbid the cashier puts in the wrong amount, and they're like, oh, we'll credit it back, and you got to wait 3 days to get your funds back. And if you have a check card and now your assets are frozen for 3 days, the system we have is not efficient. So, I mean, a simple upgrade of, hey, the way our money moves in the banking system, particularly from my checking account and my personal accounts, and if I want to send money back and forth to, my brother needs to borrow $1,000 and he has no crypto, and, he just wants legitimately $1,000, I need to send it to him. It makes sense that this would happen instantaneously, especially in the digital age that we're in now. With the internet, I mean, you can send a 4K movie in 2 minutes, but you can't send $4,000 in 2 days. So, it's insane to me. But so at face value, should be good. It's good, but I don't know, man. It's not a CBDC, so I'll say that. So I guess you could say this is beneficial for the system, but I feel like they're warming up the public, because right now it's FedNow, and then soon people aren't going to realize they're going to drop the CBDC on you, and they're going to just pretend like it's the exact same thing as before, but it really isn't.
Oh,
That's the
yeah.
problem
And
is
UBI.
we don't trust.
Mm-hmm.
Zero trust. Jenna, before we let you go, is there anything you'd like to leave us with? Anything exciting happening, or any insight or alpha you want to give us? Whether it's XRP or just anything in general.
Oh my gosh. No, I just think that there's so many cool projects that are developing right now. And I've just been down the rabbit hole of NFTs and everything for a while, because it's a much more fun and happy place for me to be than looking at everything else being down and bleeding. So, but yeah, otherwise there's a really cool metaverse project going on right now. The Expector pre-sales going on. I'm not trying to show that, but I'm just saying, if you missed out on Decentraland and some other things, you might want to look and see what they are coming up to. But yeah, just hanging out and working on my Discord and my own metaverse project. So thank you so much, guys, for having me. I appreciate it as always. And I swear to God, I am not this pale in real life. I do not know what's going on with this camera, but it has been bothering me this whole time. So thank you for having my ghost self.
I am the tech guy here. I'm the tech guy, and I spend way too many hours messing around with the camera settings. So if you need some help,
so I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Jenna, thank you so much. Guys, go follow Jenna on Twitter. We linked that in the description of this video. And Jenna, when your metaverse project does go live, we'd love to bring you back.
Yeah, I want to go hang out. Do you need VR headset, or can I hang out on my phone?
No, you're blocked.
I'm blocked?
Yeah.
It's not as cool on your phone. You're probably going to want the VR set.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk more later. Thank you, Jenna, so much.
See
We'll
you
see you
guys.
next time.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. Let's talk about ETH. So we finally got a mainnet date. Ethereum Shanghai upgrade date officially announced. The most awaited Ethereum Shanghai upgrade now has
some bullhorn sound and some DJ sound.
As an official date. Ethereum core developers set April 12th as the official date for the Shanghai mainnet upgrade. I want to share some with you guys, all right? If you're wondering, if you're like, okay, what does that mean for the price of ETH? Does that mean that Ethereum is going to, all this unlocked ETH is going to just crash? Is it not? I recommend you go watch this video. In this video, and you're watching an ad because Robin's too cheap to pay for YouTube Premium.
Just upgrade YouTube Premium?
I had YouTube Premium. Robin told me to cancel it.
No, I told you to stop Googling airplane crash videos on our main account, because our feed is nothing besides airplane crash videos. And somebody said, you want to watch airplane crash videos, watch it on your personal account. And then you were like, well, I don't have YouTube Premium on your personal account.
Swap it over.
So what you did was you paid for YouTube Premium on your personal account, and you canceled it on our business account. And I was like, why'd you cancel it?
It's a recession,
Stop watching videos. I'm like,
it's a recession.
That's up.
Anyways.
I do that every day with you guys. Know about the
Go watch this video. Go watch this video. About halfway through, I talk about what the potential is of the unlocking to the negative and the unlocking to the positive side. And you make the decision. Highly recommended. ETH Shanghai upgrade. Go watch the video afterwards if you haven't watched it already. But what side of the argument are you on? Are you on the side of it's going to tank the price, or are you on the side of it's going to catapult the price? Or are you in the middle side?
I think what happened with the extremely long-awaited ETH 2.0 rollout, where they went from proof of work to proof of stake. What was the price before that? Do you remember, David?
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, here's what was the date of the upgrade?
December.
December?
I don't know.
Yeah. So, anyways, here's the here it is. It's this little bumper right here.
You sure?
Yes. So This was right about here. So the upgrade came because it dipped all the way. Or here it is. So this is the upgrade in January. So it at one point we were trading at 1,100 and it shot up to 1,700 and then it dipped down to 1,300 and it shot up to 1,600. Then it dipped down to 1,200 and then here's the upgrade right here, 1,500. Well, when was the Shanghai upgrade? No, not the Shanghai. The ETH proof of stake.
Sure, one of our community members knows.
Went live.
Guys, help us out here. What was the exact date of when the merge?
Anyways, where I'm getting at here is wherever it was on the price, it retraced right back afterwards, right? And that was the one that we've been waiting for 5-6 years. And so this Shanghai update is not going to, you might get a small price run, but it's gonna pull right back. That's it. And the same thing will happen if it sells off. So if you get a scenario where it was September 15th. Okay, so September, it was right here. So before, okay, so if it happened September 15th, this was the run up to it. So 2 months before it went from 1,200 to 1,600. And you can even argue that for 2 months, all it really did was shoot up to $1,700. And then it came back down to 1,300, and then it rebounded back down. So you remember, we kept answering these questions. Is ETH 2.0, is Ethereum moving to proof of stake, is that enough to pull us into a bull market? Remember that?
Yeah.
You kept asking me that question. I was like, no. No, it's not. It's not. I'm sorry. Same thing with XRP lawsuit.
Hold on, bro.
I'm just saying that, you know what's going to pull us into a bull market? Time. I'm serious. Time is what's going to pull us into the bull market. Because right now, there's a distaste for crypto, and one bullish news narrative scenario, you might get short-term price action, but it's not sustained.
We need multiples.
Because we don't have a new influx of retail investors that's salivating to get into this market. Right now, because of the temperature in the room, people don't trust crypto that aren't in crypto right now. You go ask somebody that has never bought crypto, like, hey man, what do you think about Bitcoin? They're gonna laugh every time.
No, they're gonna say it's the best way to move money across time and space.
So right now, nothing's gonna push the market up in its entirety other than some time. And in due time, we're gonna have the halving. And in due time, hopefully we come out of this recessionary period and we get a little bit more capital and risk on assets pump up. And I think that's all lining up with the halving. But to answer your question, Shanghai, sure, maybe it'll pump up $100 on the price, 500 at most, and then it'll pull right back down. 5%, 5% move.
Digital Orgy said ETH is straight garbage. Wow. If ETH is garbage, then what is Solana? What is Cardano? What is Polkadot? What is every other layer one if ETH is garbage? Not sure. Also,
it's not fast, and doesn't have the throughput. It might be a little outdated. It has a large community, so it's hard to make upgrades in a fast and efficient manner. So, man, garbage is subjective, I guess. I'll leave it at that.
All right. Staying on Ethereum, but moving to Arbitrum, one of the most anticipated airdrops, I would argue, ever, has been officially, there's been a date set. And that date is the 23rd of this month, baby. Arbitrum announces the launch of its new token, ARB, and it will be a DAO token. It will be like the Uniswap token. Okay? It's not going to be used for gas fees. ETH will be used for gas fees.
So kind of like Optimism?
Yeah.
Same thing.
The Arbitrum Foundation has announced the launch of its new token under the ticker ARB, which will go live on March 23rd. With a $300 million ARB distribution, the token will allow holders to vote on changes to the Layer 2. Arbitrum, the Layer 2 blockchain protocol designed to increase scalability on ETH, is taking steps in its transition as a DAO By the way, DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. Launching a DAO governance will mark an achievement for the protocol in decentralizing the network, becoming the first EVM roll-up technology to accomplish such decentralization. Now, in addition, the foundation has announced the launch of Orbit, which will allow developers to deploy their permissionless layer 3 blockchains using the protocol's technology and Ethereum security. Arbitrum tokens will be distributed to over 12% of the community members, while the user and DAO airdrops will be available in 1 week. All investor and team tokens are subject to 4-year lockups, with the first unlocks happening in 1 year and then monthly for the remaining 3 years. Now, we did a poll. I'm about to close it. What will Arbitrum's market cap be when it first launches? Okay, so make sure Cassava will be closing in about 2 minutes. The protocol has recently surpassed the highest TVL across all layer 2s, with a TVL of up to $3.6 billion. That is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And I also have a breakdown. This is from Arbitrum's website, arbitrum.foundation. We'll just zoom in here. So a vast majority is for team and future team and advisors, 27%. DAO Treasury will hold 42.78%. Individual wallets, 11.62, which I'm not sure what that is. DAOs in the Arbitrum ecosystem, 1.13, and investors, 17.53%. And taking a look here at DeFi Llama, this is total value locked on all chains. Arbitrum is just crushing it, right? I know the other one said 3 billion, but here on DeFi Llama, it's showing us 1.67 billion, up 20% over the last month. You can see here, for something so new, it's kind of insane how many protocols have built on it, how many protocols are thriving on it, and how much TVL is coming to the ecosystem. So with that being said, let's just call it $2 billion in total value locked, okay? $300 million worth of tokens to be airdropped. We can do some reverse math here. What do you think the market cap of Arbitrum will be, Robin?
Less than $1 billion.
Less than $1 billion. You are HIGHPP.
Okay. You think this is going to be more successful than Optimism?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
What makes them so drastically different than Optimism?
Let's take a look here. I like to look at numbers, you know?
I do too. I'm just saying Optimism's market cap is 700 million.
933 million.
What about them?
Close to double the TVL on Arbitrum versus Optimism. Double the amount of protocols on Arbitrum versus Optimism. Like this airdrop is has more hype around it than Optimism did. I think it's going to land between 1 and 3 billion.
I think the reason it has the hype is because Optimism went first. People didn't realize how much people were going to use it or how much interest would be in it. And so now people don't want to miss the second boat. But what always happens on the second boat, what happens when you watch the first meme coin pop off and go to the moon and you're like, oh, the next meme coin's here. It always underperforms. And so people are expecting the same returns from the growth of Optimism's token as they are from Arbitrum's token. And that historically has never played out right. And it's the same way of you looking at an NFT and being like, well, they're going to have this one's going to create a baby and another one. So all I got to do is hold it for 5 more days and I get an extra NFT. Everybody in the community is doing the same thing. Everybody's expecting the same thing. And everybody's expecting Arbitrum to act just like Optimism. But tell me off the top of your head, what makes Arbitrum vastly different or superior to Optimism to a point to where it doubles its market cap? So you're saying it's a top 30 project? Why would it be a top 30 project? Like
Optimism's market cap is $767 million, okay?
Yeah.
When it first launched, it was at, what was the all-time high?
So if you're saying that hit 1 billion and at any point in time? Sure. I think it can get up to 1 billion. I think there could be enough buzz in there, but I think if it does hit $1 billion, it's going to fade quickly. I'm not saying it's pointless. I'm just saying that it's just going to be less and less relevant as time goes on. I mean, Uniswap was in the top 10 at one point, and then people were like, "Oh, this doesn't really do much for me."
So Optimism is currently at number 60.
Yeah.
So Arbitrum, I think Arbitrum is going to come out at between $1 to $3 billion market cap.
1 to 3 billion. So you're saying it's going to be a top 30 crypto project when it comes out?
If that's where it lands, yes. Am I saying that's the value it should have?
Okay. So
I'm not saying that's the value it should have.
So what I'm saying is that what makes it so much better than Optimism? It's essentially it's the same.
Why does Arbitrum have 213 protocols on it and Optimism has 100? Why does Arbitrum have $1.7 billion in TVL and Optimism has 900 million? Do you know the answer to those questions? I don't. But I'm looking at where's the money flowing, where are projects flowing, where are protocols flowing. They're flowing more to Arbitrum than they are Optimism. And so people are going to want to say in how that network goes. So like that's what I'm basing mine on. It's not feeling, it's not this. It's like looking at the numbers. Okay, money's going here. People believe it has value. So when the token drops, one of the highly anticipated airdrops, and it's a governance token, like I don't think there's any question in my head it's going to be at 1.1 to $3 billion. And the chat agrees. 1 to 3 billion, 49% of you said that's where it's going to land. 30% of you think 3 to 5 billion. And 19% of you think more than 5 billion.
When's the airdrop go live?
March 23rd.
In a week?
Yeah, 1 week. So, yeah. Usually new tokens drop 40 to 50% within 4 to 6 months before stabilizing. You see it? 1 to 3 billion. So $300 million worth.
I think it could easily come out and be over $1 billion the first day. But I think if that's the case, it's gonna crash immediately, and it'll be way below Optimism.
That was a question. B when it goes live. When it's first airdrop. Yeah, I like Arbitrum long term. I think another big one is going to be Starknet. But I don't have any info as far as that airdrop or when that's happening or if they're even going to have an airdrop. So, but pretty interesting. Now some more Ethereum news. ETH supply dropped by more than $100 million since the merge. New data shows. This is sourced from Crypto Globe. Over $100 million worth of Ethereum has been burned since the crypto's network transitioned from a proof of work consensus algorithm to a proof of stake. Its supply having dropped by over 64,457 ETH. There are now 120,456 ETH circulating on the market. So this is a chart since the merge. And, Forrest, obviously, our man Forrest, he's a big ETH guy. And he talked about this all the time. Talked about when ETH goes to proof of stake, no sell pressure from miners. Deflation rate or the inflation rate goes down. So, but we haven't seen a big move in price. Could it be, could something like Arbitrum, could that launch it? Who knows? I don't know. What do you think, Robin?
I think the Arbitrum thing is a non-fact. I think it's just a lot of people waiting to get a free airdrop with the expectation of making millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing. And I think it's gonna be a nothing burger, bro.
You guys agree with me or Robin? Robin's bearish on Arbitrum. I'm bullish on Arbitrum.
I like Arbitrum. I don't think the thing is they're trying to create value out of nothing, and I'm just never been a fan out of airdropping. I don't care about Hex's new token, their chain they're gonna come out with. I don't care about the Ape coin dropping. That was in the top 10 at one point. I don't care about. I would rather a project be built from the ground up with a token that powers it than to try to turn a quick buck by just airdropping a bunch of tokens and creating value out of thin air. Just historically has played out well. Uniswap is a good example of something that did theoretically work, but they didn't really announce airdrop. They just surprised everybody with it. So I don't know.
Harry Gensler.
I do have a couple of new people in the chat. I'll just give a quick shout out here. If you're new, say hello so we can jump an hola back at you. We have Jelston Lalapiera. We got Crypto Golfer, Snoop X. We got D Whitaker, Mario, Stay Golden, and LSHD. Hola! Welcome, Sin City Crypto.
You forgot Gianluca Cizzari.
And
Gianluca.
And
Gianluca?
Paul Lucan as well up in here. So I think
Zarge.
And Zarge?
Zarge.
Zarge?
Yeah.
That's right, Zarge. Yeah. Paul Wu.
Let's talk about Robin's favorite trading platform that he has all his wealth on, Robinhood. Robinhood users say the trading app won't cash in their profitable bets against Silicon Valley Bank. Shocker! Guys, remember, Robinhood was also the trading app that wouldn't allow people to cash in their GameStop gains. And this is the guy behind Robinhood, Vlad Tenev, the CEO of Robinhood. So, if you had Robinhood controversy on your 2023 banking crisis bingo card, you're in luck. The spread just got called. Unlike the great meme stock rally of 2021, this brouhaha revolves around put options and how users of the broker's app aren't able to cash in on the collapse of Silicon Valley and signature banks, even as their bets are in the money. What happened here, guys? What happened? So, Robinhood isn't allowing them, the users, to sell their contracts, their put contracts, or get paid. A slew of the contracts are set to expire on Friday. No bueno. These shares aren't trading anymore, so it's a bit of a logistical nightmare to buy the shares if you don't already own them to satisfy the contracts. On Wednesday, Robinhood CEO Vlad Tenev tweeted that the firm was, quote, working to resolve this ASAP. Now, Robinhood isn't the only one. Fidelity also wasn't, doing the same thing. They didn't immediately return requests for comment, but, they're also taking a social media beatdown for its failure to pay up. But of course, Robinhood gets the bulk of the spotlight because of their past dealings with GameStop. Now, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, the thing is, they halted trading, right? On Wall Street, they halted trading. So trading resumed. Just not on this platform.
Trading did not. Trading on the stock.
Yeah,
did not resume.
No,
it's halted across all.
So it's still halted. Is where I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I mean, how are they supposed to let you?
A contract is a legal agreement.
I know, but that's like putting in a sports bet and then they cancel the game, and you're like, "Hey, I got a parlay though." Like, well, you can't cash the parlay because the game.
But what you put the bet in for actually happened. And the bet was that the stock was going to tank, and it did. So,
but you could say
it's an unfortunate situation.
You can say that the team. You can say that football. You say that football game. You can say one team's down by 3 touchdowns, but like, well, they're losing, and the game they ended the game early, but they were already down. Like,
no.
I'm just saying that because the thing is it's a weird circumstance. I don't think that GameStop is looking at the people that have the short positions and they're like, hey, we're not going to pay you because we want to keep that money for ourselves.
Who's GameStop? You mean Robinhood?
Yeah, Robinhood, my bad. So I think Robinhood is looking at it in the way of like, hey, we're not allowed, or there's no trading allowed on this, so we can't facilitate we can't finish the contract. It's a weird situation, right? Okay, here's my question. Do you think that these trading platforms are keeping the money for themselves?
I don't know.
That's where I'm getting at. Maybe they are. Maybe I'm being naive. But for me, I just think because they're not trading, Robinhood probably can't finish the contract out themselves either. and in turn they can't pay the users, would be my guess. I don't know. I don't know enough about stocks in this regard, but
All I know is it is a binding contract, and you are the platform that facilitated that contract. So, I mean, it's enough of a deal for the CEO to come out and say we're working on it to fix it. So if it was like what you're saying, oh, it's paused, it can't do anything, they would have come out and said that, right? So the fact that the CEO's out here saying we're working to fix this ASAP.
I'm sure they're working for a resolution.
Because if that's the case,
If it was just a simple payout, like, hey, look, it's black and white. This is how much I'm supposed to be paid out. This is where we're at. Like, you're holding my money. This is fraud. Like, if it was that cut and simple and dry, I think they would have paid it out. But because they're not trading the stock anymore, did it go to SVB Bank stock?
it's zero. Well, not zero, but
I think there is a great documentary on Netflix. If you go watch what happened with the stock like a couple of years ago, and Robinhood is not the first time that they kind of.
They stopped trading it 6 days ago. So right when all this happened. So. Yeah, I don't know. All right. Also, we have a couple of new people in here. We have a lot of people said they just signed up, new subscribers. So we have Kenneth Keto City, Tot W100. We got B, just that letter. We have Alex Trandos, T Sir, Brad G, and Crypto Boy. Also, we got Thomas Samanach, and then Bit Green Sun 9. To all of you,
it's
Thomas
Semenich, like a sandwich, but Semenich.
Son of a. All right. Hola. Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Sandwich. Hey guys, I made an offer on a condo here in Vegas over by the Orleans. Wish me luck. We wish you luck, my friend. Also, we are right by the Orleans.
You be our neighbor.
You get that condo, my friend. You come hang out with us. Big Green Sun, I haven't seen you here. Welcome.
It's actually like 2 stoplights away from us.
Literally 2 stoplights. Yeah. Guys, if you're new here, please say hello. We'd love to personally welcome you. And Lasiba said hola with 75 A's. Thank you so much. All right, let's reverse course here. Okay, we started with banking, and we're gonna revert back to banking. Talked about what's the Fed gonna do? They injected $2 trillion into the banking system, right? To help with liquidity. Well, we have some ideas of what they might possibly do based off of what their counterparts did. Here's the first one. The ECB, European Central Bank, hikes rates despite market mayhem, pledges support if needed. So, I'll say that in a second. Will Smith, the like button. Wow. The European Central Bank on Thursday announced a further rate hike of 50 basis points, signaling it is ready to supply liquidity to banks if needed amid recent turmoil in the banking sector. In February, preliminary data showed headline inflation of 8.5%. So it's good to look outside of, if you're here in the U.S., to look outside of the U.S. You know, we just got 6%. Yes, that's not good. Europe's 8.5%, right? Other countries, 20, 25, 100%. So although 6% sucks, it could be a lot worse. So this latest move, right, the 50 basis point rate hike brings their terminal rate to 3%. Now, there was a tweet here from Mario Nawfal. European financial regulators are furious at the handling of Silicon Valley Bank by U.S. authorities, saying, quote, they tore up a rule book they helped write. Senior Eurozone officials said the U.S. showed total and utter incompetence. This is interesting. While the Huh?
That who was that? The ECB said that?
Yeah. European financial regulators.
European financial.
One senior Eurozone official described the shock at the total and utter incompetence, particularly after a decade and a half long of long and boring meetings with Americans advocating to end bailouts. So we know how interconnected the markets across the globe are. But it didn't stop there.
Is that super hypocritical
Of who? The U.S.?
the U.S. to sit here and preach like, hey, do not bail out the banks. Like, don't do it. And then they've been beating this drum for 15 years since 2008 crisis and saying, hey, we messed up. And if we ever had an issue, we would just, and the same thing with like remember when the COVID thing happened, they issued the checks.
Yeah.
They're like, this time if we're going to print money because of an economic situation, we're going to give it straight to the people instead of the billionaire banks, right? And what did they do the first bank got stressed?
I'm curious, and I haven't done any research into this, but have there been any banks in Europe that have failed that the European regulators didn't step in and provide liquidity because of what the U.S. said? And now they see the U.S. do it. They're like, yo, what the hell?
I mean, there has to have been global bank failures.
That information,
I mean,
I don't,
the thing is, we only see the big ones. I mean, you can look at, what was it, over 140 banks went under after 2008, shortly thereafter.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
So I'm sure there's a host of banks that have went over in Europe.
But it's not just the ECB, right? One of the hot topics of the week has been Credit Suisse. I believe one of the largest banks in Switzerland. Not only Switzerland, but across the world. It is known as one of the banks too big to fail across the world. Now, the Swiss National Bank chairman hints at a further rate hike to stem inflation. Swiss National Bank expects inflation to remain elevated in Switzerland for the time being, saying, quote, it cannot be ruled out that the SNB, aka the Switzerland National Bank, has to increase rates to ensure price stability. Well, their inflation's at 2.8%. Must be nice. Although low by international standards, Swiss inflation rose to 2.8% last year, which is outside of their 2% target. The SNB hiked 3 times in 2022 to raise its policy rate out of negative territory to 1%. And then we have a couple tweets here. So this was tweeted yesterday by Watcher Guru. Credit Suisse to borrow up to 50 billion Swiss francs from the Swiss Central Bank. So it's not just the U.S. banks that are getting bailouts. It's also overseas banks. Here's the thing. It comes to a point where if you do not bail them out, there is financial Armageddon. And you're talking about if Credit Suisse goes down, or if one of the top 5 in the U.S. go down, inflation would be one of the last worries that we have. I'll just put it to you that way. Also, this what is this causing? This is causing the bond market to go into a frantic. The 2-year Treasury yield went from 5 to under 4% over 5 days, which is the largest decline.
That is nuts, man.
Since October 19th in 87, which Black Monday was that day, was the first day, October 19th. Now, if you extrapolate, okay, crashing bond prices, right? What does that do to the secondary, the bond market? So you have floating out there now, you've had people who have bought 5% 2-year notes. And if these 2-year notes are crashing down to 4%, everyone is probably going to sell their 2-year note and make that difference in money, or they're going to hold on to it. It's going to cause either a run to buy or to dump on the market, or it's going to have people hold. Either way, it's not good for the risk on asset market. But this is not good. You don't want a violent move to the upside. You don't want a violent move to the downside. You guys got to understand, a vast majority of our money, the money we put in banks, is put in stuff like this. So when there's tons of volatility and violence going either way, it's not good. It puts some banks in really good positions and it puts some banks in really bad positions. One of those banks is Bank of America. They have $113 billion of unrealized losses on their balance sheets,
Jesus.
which represents over 60% of their tangible book value. You can see here. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but
Curious, if we had enough viewers watching this and we showed this, would we cause a bank run on Bank of America?
Bank of America is not going under. I'm sorry. I'm happy.
Wait, here's the thing. If 60% of customer assets are tied into something that they have unrealized losses that they can't even sell at the moment, it doesn't matter. Like, I get it. You can borrow from somebody else. You can get bailed out. But I'm just saying that, like, you can still facilitate a bank run and then have to draw liquidity or borrow money or bail out or printed money, whatever the hell you want to call it. You gotta get money from somewhere, and it's gonna come from the government, right? So I mean, a bank run is not out of question for Bank of America. If anything, it's at this point it's getting more and more probable.
Yeah, but
now whether or not they collapse, that's a whole different story.
Robin,
but bank run, it's a possibility,
Robin,
man.
Here's my question, though. Okay, a bank run. I take all my money out of Bank of America. Where am I putting it?
The thing is that you don't need to take all your money. All you need is 10% of account holders go pull their money out. I know. You just need one out of 10 people to be like, man, I don't know about all this.
That's fine. But where are they going to put it? If you can't keep it in Bank of America, where?
The thing is that they take it and they go put it somewhere else, man.
Where though? Where?
The thing is okay. Where do you think the Silicon Valley Bank people that took their money, they went and put it in a different bank?
JP Morgan Chase and Bank of America. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
But if
you take it at Bank of America, you're going to go over to
JP Morgan Chase?
Yes.
Which is on the same line as Bank of America.
Well, people don't think that way. People are going to see, they're doing a bank run on Bank of America. This is bad. I need to get my money out. And they're going to go look at the next bank branch that's right across the street. They're like, okay, they're going to wander over there. And
there is 0% chance Bank of America's under. Zero.
I'm not saying.
Zero.
You can't say zero.
Zero.
How do you? Okay, why? They're too big to fail? Is that
way too big to fail? B of A, JP Morgan Chase, Citibank, Wells Fargo, they will not fail unless there is a CBDC.
The Roman Empire failed. Were they too big? The Egyptians failed. Were they too big?
Fine.
Banks can fail, bro.
The U.S. government can fail. In that case, sure, it can go to zero.
So you're comparing Bank of America and U.S. government. If the U.S. government can't fail, neither can Bank of America.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, bro, but Bank of America can fail.
It cannot fail because they have a backstop. It's called the Fed.
I'm sorry, dude. Now, the percentage, the chance might be minute. I understand that.
Yeah, minute,
but,
like
but
zero.
if you sit here and think that it is absolutely impossible,
it's impossible.
Then why do we do the crypto show? Don't you think?
What do you mean?
No, I'm serious. Why do we do a crypto show? Don't you think that crypto is going to replace the banks eventually? Don't you think that our technology is fundamentally better than elsewhere? So at some point, that system is going to collapse, right? And so if there's a 0% chance, you're saying there's a 0% chance crypto takes over, right?
That's not you're drawing weird conclusions.
What I'm saying is that banks will be
crypto
irrelevant.
And banks can't live side by side.
No, because I think crypto, the banks that we see now will not stay around. Banks that we have now will not be around. And you either adopt a emerging technology or you're gonna eventually go under. I'm sorry but I think Bank of America will leapfrog into crypto at some point when they have to, when the competitors are going into it, and you have also nation states holding Bitcoin and holding crypto and using it, their central banks. Then sure, there's going to be no other option but for banks to get into crypto. But if they don't and they stay in that same way that they were before, they're going to go under, bro.
If the Fed one day after the 16th largest bank went under, one day later said we will insure all deposits, what are they going to do when the third largest bank in the world goes under?
If these banks start collapsing one by one, you can't bail them all out at once. At some point, you got to let somebody fall, man.
You either then you start subsidize one.
It's exactly what happened in 2008. You had Bear Stearns, there was a list of banks and companies in front of them, and
other banks bought them up via the Fed. What happened to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac? They couldn't be bailed out, so what did they do? The Fed subsidized them. Now they're government agencies. So there's some parts of the institution.
At some point, you can't absorb everything, otherwise you'll just be a communist country. Right? What is Bank of America going to fail, and then the Fed's going to be like,
Some people,
you know what?
that's what
we're
they
gonna
want.
we're going to make that Federal Reserve number 2.
Some people in
That'll
this
be
country, that's
private
what they
Federal
want.
Reserve, and then we got Federal Reserve Public Reserve.
Some people in this country, that is what they want. They want government to control
Is that what you
everything.
want? Because
that's
you don't,
not
you
what
don't-
I want.
You don't believe the banks can never
That is
go
not
under.
what I
You said
want.
there's a 0% chance.
0%
Sounds
chance
like that's what you
Bank
want.
of America goes under. Unless there's a CBDC, Robin. Unless there's an
There's
alternative.
gonna be a CBDC. It is coming.
In the meantime, if right now, let's say you're saying 10% of people take their money out, and Bank of America says we
I'm
are in
saying-
trouble,
we
they are not
started-
going under.
We started this off by saying you said there's 0% chance there'll be a bank run on Bank of America. I said there could be a bank run on Bank of America. All you need is some
And that
you
bank
need
run-
you need some narrative that to go around media and people freak out and go to the bank. And then what's going to happen is the government's going to bail them out.
Exactly.
Yeah,
not
but
gonna
what
go
I'm
under.
saying, you said there's 0 chance there's gonna be a bank run. I'm like, well, they could do a
No,
bank run
I said,
and stay up.
I said go under. No, I didn't say bank
Wait,
run.
that was the first. The whole
0%
thing
chance
started.
the bank goes under.
You can
0%
rewind
chance
it
the bank-
later when we leave. You said there's
Tyler,
0%.
what did I say? Rocco, what did I say? I said goes under, not bank run.
You later, we just started discussing that later. The whole thing started, you said there's 0% of a bank run. I said,
No, what I said.
enough people can go and do a run on a Bank of America.
Tyler,
and
will you fact check this thing, please? We'll come back to you with the news of our community fact check. Yeah, if there's a bank run, 0% chance Bank of America goes under in this current landscape.
in this current landscape.
You know what I'm saying?
He's like, yeah, there's 0% chance Bank of America will go under tomorrow. It would be 0% chance Bank of America will go.
So what are we talking
go
in
under by the end of the
20
week.
years, 50 years?
No, I'm just saying that within a reasonable
50 years.
time frame, within the next 5 to 10 years, there is some chance that this spillover can go to a major bank. And I'm sorry, but the government can try to save multiple banks at one time. But if this whole card system starts to collapse, bro, I'm telling you, and that's what we're seeing, man. We're seeing an issue. We're seeing a contagion. And at what point does the government say that's enough? At what point do you keep printing so much money that the people are like, yo, we can't keep propping this up, man? Like, and then on top of that, you're going to have executives, you're going to have Bank of America executives or whoever it is making billions of dollars and all this and these big payouts and bonuses. And then lo and behold, we're coming in and bailing them out. Citizens are going to get pissed off. They're going to need more money. And then the government's going to be like, no. And then that's not a 0%.
Robin, you know, we both had gambling problems, right? And when you put 100 in, like, all right, cool. And then you're like, what's another 100? I'm in 200. What's another 100? 300. Eventually, what's another 100? What's another? And $10,000 later, you drained your bank account. We're at $32 trillion. They just added $2 trillion, $34 trillion. What's another trillion?
Dave,
What's another
all
$2
I'm
trillion?
saying is
What's another
that
$5
you
trillion?
can just look at history in its entirety with any company at any point in time throughout mankind's history. Companies do not last forever. Neither do banks. Neither do countries. Neither do
Coca-Cola's been around for
civilization.
over 100 years.
And eventually it will go under.
No, we won't.
It might not be in our lifetime.
Coca-Cola's not
I'm saying is that nothing
not a
lasts
bedrock
forever,
of a
man.
nation.
I'm sure if we were doing this show back in 1999, you'd be like, Blockbuster will be around forever, bro.
Speaking of
People need their
Blockbuster,
media.
do you see that
like,
tweet?
You have no idea. Like, Blockbuster will be here forever, bro. Like,
Oh my
people
God.
need their movies
You
and
are
DVDs.
so good at drawing horrible correlations. We're literally talking about the bedrock of the U.S. financial institution, which are
doesn't mean-
banks.
but you're
you're
saying-
comparing it to Blockbuster.
You're saying it's too big
And
to
Netflix.
fail. And we've heard that way too many times. There's nobody is too big to fail. I don't care who it is. I don't care. You can put any name in there. Nobody's too big to fail. Nobody. No company. No government. You think America's going to be the world reserve currency forever?
No.
Okay. You think Bank of America will be around forever?
Yes.
It's funny, bro.
Kidding, of course.
Yeah, so the U.S. government will eventually lose its world reserve currency, but Bank of America will never go anywhere. It'll always be here, no matter, even if they have some fraud or scandal that isn't announced, or they embezzle money, or somebody gets
Like Wells Fargo
arrested,
did.
or and all these something dramatically happens, Oh, Wells Fargo is a crooked ass bank too.
Rico said Dave's the type of guy to think payphones were too big to fail. That's not true. That's not true at all.
He's like, well, where's Superman supposed to change it?
You guys, here's the problem with your guys' drawing analogies. Okay, you're talking about a separate industry that has nothing to do with a country's government, a country's well-being.
What I'm saying is that
we're talking about the bedrock of the American financial institution, which is hold on, let me finish. Which is banks. Okay, unless something changes. As it stands right now, the way the American country is ran, there is no way Bank of America fails. Goes under.
Yes, if everything runs exactly today as it does tomorrow, it's not going to fail. That's the whole premise. The whole idea is that something can be too big. There's nothing that's not too big to fail. And when things fail, things change. Different landscape happens. Enron, the day Enron was launched, when it was 1 year old, was completely different. You can sit here and say Enron when it was a year old and be like, there's no chance it's going to fail. Well, unless something changes. Well, something did change. They took on massive risk and they developed an environment that was outside of what the original business model was. And then they took on massive risk. They lied and had fraud, and then they went under. And what I'm saying is that you think a company is too big for the simple fact, like there's no company that's too big. Just because they're a bank doesn't mean that they're allowed to be bigger and not fail. Like the thing is like nobody is too big to fail. It doesn't matter if it's a bank, if it's a company, it's a brand, it's a logo. It doesn't matter, man. You don't know what's going on inside of like what if they just take a wrong bet and invest too much money in a different sector that they didn't.
The government will bail them out.
Yeah, I can't with you, man.
What?
You just...
The government won't bail them out?
If it was a one-off event and it was only Bank of America that all of a sudden came into some turmoil and was about to go under, yes, the government would bail them out. I agree with you, yes. But I'm just saying that there's extreme circumstances that could pop up. It could be in wartime events. I don't know. You could have 4 banks collapsing at one time and they try to save 2 of them, but Bank of America had the worst financials of all of them and they got tired of putting money into them, or maybe they bailed them out once and then they needed another bailout 2 years later. What about Credit Suisse? They're a big ass bank. They got bailed out by the Middle Eastern bank. They injected capital, and why are we talking about them going under again? Because the Middle Eastern bank said they're not going to give them any more money.
The central bank just gave them 50 billion Swiss francs.
I know, but why did they give them 50 billion Swiss francs? Because the Middle Eastern, I forget the name of that bank. The Middle Eastern bank said we're not going to inject any more capital
because they don't have any more money.
So then the Swiss bank had to step in, the central bank, and give them money. What happens when they needed more money from the central bank? What happens? Maybe they say next time, we're not going to give you any more money. And maybe U.S. bails out Bank of America once, and then 3 years later, they need more money. And they're like, yeah, we already bailed you out. We're not going to do it again. And what I'm saying is that maybe it's a small chance, but to sit here and think that a bank cannot go under because they're too big, they're the bedrock, it's a bullshit, bro.
No.
It's going to go under eventually, at some point.
Eventually. 50, 100 years from now, it'll go under when the complete banking system is different.
More than likely, that'll be around 50 to 100 years. More than likely. I agree with you. Okay. But there is a chance.
As long as the system is like this, it's not going
Okay, as long as nothing changes, it won't go under. You're right, David.
If there's a CBDC.
But if there is a global war and 4 banks go down at the same time and they bail them out 3 times in a row, then all of a sudden, things change. It can go under. That's what I'm saying.
There's going to be a war of attrition. I want to give a couple shout outs real quick. We'll give a shout out to Jimmy. 10 gifted memberships. Jimmy, thank you so much. Round of applause for my friend Jimmy. Also, Kazuma, $10 super chat. Rocco, you pull that up so I can read it? $10? It's a 10 euro or 10 pounds? I can never. That's euro, right, Rocco? Euro. Thank you. This is my last message in YouTube to investors. Use Trust Wallet only buy projects that hasn't hit and hold your own keys. And only use Central Exchange when you're going to move your profit. Yes. Hold your own crypto. And it's best if you custody your own crypto. I'm done. Robin, you have anything else you want to add?
No.
Oh, I wanted to share a tweet from Blockbuster. So, man, I was excited when I saw Blockbuster. New business idea. We're going to come back as a bank and use VHS and DVDs as currency. Time to go visit your mom. Oh, man, that was good. All right, we're done. Guys, to all the new people, thank you so much. Come back tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, go check out our ISO 222 video that just came out. And also with the new ETH Shanghai fork mainnet date revealed. Go check out that video as well. Go look at our merch store. Go look at our social medias. Go look at everything, Rocco. You guys, thank you so much. Yesterday, I apologize. You had to deal with Robin by himself. But don't worry, I'm back, and I'll be back tomorrow. To all of you, I love you. Thank you so much. On behalf of myself, Robin, Rocco, and Kyler, we'll see you tomorrow. Until then, peace.